So the bias towards the Big Six continues. I need to talk to you about this because enough is enough. Welcome to the match reaction. Hi guys, hope you're doing well and welcome to my match reaction for Forest 1, 115 2. Make sure you've hit the like button, make sure you've subscribed. If you want to grab me a coffee, you can. You guys know the drill. And let's jump into it. By the way, Gore will be on at 7 o'clock tonight, I believe. I just want to go straight into this about Rob Jones, about the PG LOL in general. The divisiveness now between the Big Six and the other 14 is getting absolutely stupid. Now, the more you think about it, why would they want Man City to have won yesterday? A lot of people saying, oh, it's because of the way Marinakis has rustled their feathers. You know, what he did last year, the letters, the complaints and everything else. I don't think it's that deep. I think one, there's incompetence, and then secondly, they won a title race. If you look at last season, Liverpool walked away with the league. We were probably their best challengers for certain parts of that season. And they just won a title race because title race sells subscriptions. Subscription pays for Sky and all these things, BT or TNT, whatever they're called now. And that means people will stay tuned in longer for a title race. That's what I think it's coming down to now. Had Man City lost, Arsenal went on and won, and now suddenly there would have been a big gap and a title race potentially over, even though I don't think it would have been. But it's just getting silly now. And I got on a lot of panel shows last night and I've kicked off about this. But you're not getting the backing from certainly the Big Six panelists or audience, or, to be honest, the other 14 teams. And this is where I think the other 14 fan bases need to start uniting behind all bad decisions against those clubs. Because even if it was, who we fighting with right now? I don't know, Boring Mouth or something. Or forget Boring Mouth. Let's say West Ham. If West Ham had a bad decision yesterday, we really should be calling it out as a fan base together, along with the West Ham fans, with whoever else, Fulham, Sunderland, Villa, Newcastle, and just starting to put pressure on these, because all these things will be highlighted if this was a Big Six team. And let's be real, Man City are not a traditional Big Six team. They're new money Big Six, oil money Big Six. They bought their way to the league. They got 115 charges against them. After yesterday, should be 117 charges. And this idiot keeps getting away with it. Yet it's okay when, when one of the Big Six complains about a ref, suddenly they don't reappear in those key matches for them going forward. Rob Jones did this against Bolly, against Boring Mouth a couple of seasons ago, where he sent him off for a clean tackle. We then saw him, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in the Brighton match as well, where he sent off Gibbs-White, and I think he sent off Nuno or one of Nuno's assistants at the time. We have history with this guy. He started okay for 10 minutes and then he went into Rob Jones mode and just robbed us. So I think there needs to, and I'm going to start calling it out. If I see a bad decision for even teams around us, it's time we just call it out and talk about this corruption, because it's getting silly. So look, that was the refereeing stuff to one side. Let's talk about the actual game, because there was a lot of good things to take away from this game. Igor Jesus, I think, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, he is one of the best back-to-ball strikers in the Premier League currently. I thought Guardiola and Dias weren't expecting it, didn't know what hit them, and he schooled them yesterday. Now, the Man City fans are coming, oh, he went down so many times. Stop fouling him then. Stop fouling him. It's as simple as that. Win the ball cleanly. Dias should have been sent off. But look, I just think he's been brilliant. I just have to say, though, he needs to score goals. It's all well and good with that hold-up play, but goals have to come. Now, they don't necessarily have to come from him, as long as he's playing in the wingers, and then you've got a box-crashing midfielder, a bit like we saw Sangare doing just before he went to AFCON. Like that, that's what you want to see. And yesterday, he got his assist as well. So I thought Igor Jesus was brilliant yesterday, but I can't actually think of a clear-cut chance he really had that he could have scored for as well. We need to start getting him into some scoring positions. It can't just all be hold up. But there was really good performances out there. I thought Hutchinson was fantastic. And John Victor, I thought he was really, really good. I know a lot of you have got your agendas against John Victor and everything, but I feel the fan base judged him too quickly. He's a competent goalkeeper. Seen him plenty at Corinthians over in the Brazilian league and also Farmers League. But he's starting to show that he's settling in. Now, why was Sell still on the bench yesterday? Don't know, but we'll see what happens in the Everton game to where that changes. And speaking of bench, this is now becoming a major concern for me. Like I said, Sean Dyche got his tactics right yesterday. Things were really well organised, blocked out the middle, forced them out wide, made them go backwards. Our pressing was good and everything else. But the substitutions are seriously becoming an issue. And this is something that Mike told me about, our mate Mike from Blue Boys Network, who's an Everton fan. He said his subs are not only late, but infuriating as well in terms of the timing of it. And I just don't see how you can go 85 or 86 minutes against Man City with the work rates that the 11 on the pitch have put in and not make changes at the latest 70th minute. It could have been at half time. Hudson-Odoi, I'd say 5-10 minutes into the second half, looked like he was spent. And Dyche didn't pick up on it. So that is frustrating for me. He's got to change these quickly because there's been a fair few games now where collectively, whether you're a fan of Dyche or not, I think both sides of the equation here would agree that these substitutions are too late. And the other thing that we saw yesterday that is a positive is, again, we saw Dyche setting up against the so-called Cartel 6 teams and doing very well. That's now Man City. Okay, we lost, but the style of play I thought was brilliant. Spurs, we absolutely schooled them. Liverpool, we beat them 3-0. So these are three big six teams that he's come across against, and I think he's done very well in all these matches. This now needs to transfer into the other 13 teams, or 14 if you include us. It is really important that because it's getting slightly frustrating for me. I see a performance like yesterday, and I think, how the hell are we 17th? And then I see a performance like we did against Fulham and against Everton, aka other 13 teams. And you're like, how are we not bottom of the table? It's so yin and yang in terms of the performances, and the consistency is completely lacking. And if he just did what he did yesterday against most teams, you'd probably win. The issue is when we have to be the team on the front foot and we come up against a defensive team, which is exactly what we're coming up across next in Everton. This one we have to win. This one, because we got Villa and Arsenal coming up afterwards, and West Ham, shout out to Nuno, double agent Nuno doing his thing at West Ham. They're 5 points behind us, but they've got Wolves coming up. I know it's at Molineux. I don't think it will be that easy for them, but on paper, they could cut the gap down to us to 2 points. Now, I'm still not looking over the shoulder. I'm looking ahead. But we have to put ourselves in a position. There's been 2 or 3 times lately in the last few weeks where Forest could have just won that game against Everton or won that game against Fulham and pushed on into that midfield pack. But we just seem to stumble at the wrong moment. And with those 2 games coming up, Villa and Man City, we have to make sure we can make that buffer at least 5 points if Everton beat Wolves, or stretch it out to 8. Once it gets to 8, 9, 10 points between us and the bottom 3, I think what you'll find is the players themselves will start to relax into the games and not be feeling the pressure of what's going on behind us. And once that happens and Forest can relax into the season, we've got to get through these next 3 weeks and that West Ham game at the London Stadium and then see where we are. And if we're miles clear, I think we really just have to focus on the Europa League. There's no point in pushing up and getting ourselves 10th or 11th or 9th or wherever it is, because the same prize, apart from the money prize, but in terms of the extras between, say, 8th and 17th, is going to be exactly the same. I'd be more than happy to take 17th in that Europa League. But when I say 17th, I mean a mile clear of the stuff that's going on behind us. But for us to do that, we have to push ourselves into that midfield pack. So when it comes to mid-Jan or end of Jan, whenever our next 2 Europa League matches are, we can fully concentrate on those and then concentrate on the next rounds coming up. So a lot of positives to take from yesterday, but that frustration is still just there. Another corner goal conceded, dead ball goals. Our corners weren't good enough ourselves from set pieces and dead balls. These are things that need to be worked on. But if we can just put a little run together, I just see us being very comfortable. Whether I like Dyche or not, or want Dyche or not, I still think this squad is good enough and capable enough, because that goal we scored against Man City was just sheer class. And we can do plenty more of those. But look, we'll talk about it further with the boys tonight on Grumpy Old Red, so make sure you tune in there. Make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already. Please do subscribe. I'll leave you the player ratings so you can see the crazy ratings you lot were giving the players yesterday. I still think you were being harsh. We'll see you tonight on Grumpy Old Reds. Come on, you Reds.